So I'm Paul Currie, and MD of the Lakes Distillery. Well, my typical day is probably answered by the fact there is no typical day, because it's all completely different. I mean, there are so many variations in terms of the operation here. There's obviously a lot of time spent on producing our amazing Lakes malt of the future. So I spend time with Davil Gandhi, who's our chief whiskey maker. I do a lot of effort on sales, so I may be travelling to Asia, the States, or one of our major UK customers, including Master of Malt, to go and talk to them about what we're doing. We also, as well as making spirits here with our gin and vodka, we've got a big visitor operation. And so we have a bistro, we've got tours, shops, that also takes some of my time. So every day is different, that's definitely the case. Well, it is very exciting. When I with my dad, founded the Arran Distillery 25 years ago, when I was much younger. So I've been down this process before. But to have the first in this region was something very special. There's a whiskey history here. There's a very famous illicit distiller called Lanty Slee who was making whiskey in the 1800s. But there hasn't been any other whiskey in the Lakes for centuries. So to have, first of all, the idea and then to find this amazing site, because it is very beautiful, to have as our distillery was fantastic. It's a reasonably complicated business here because we've got a big tourist business as well as actually making and selling our spirits. So the main focus is our single malt, which is first going to get launched this year, very exciting. And then we've got other brands. We've got the One, which is our blend of British whiskies, and we've got Steel Bonnets, which will be the first ever English and Scotch malt whiskey, which is coming out in the summer. So we have whiskies, we've got our gins, Lakes Gin, we've got Lakes Vodka, we do our Lakes liqueurs, which have had great success since we launched them. Especially our rhubarb elderflower, they are fantastic. And then the other side of the business is as a tourist destination, and we're now a top 5 visitor distillery in the UK, including Scotland. We get 100,000 plus through the gates every year, and that's fantastic in terms of getting our imprint upon the world. We've got a great bistro, and there's fantastic food in there, shop and tours, etc. And we were delighted about a month ago, we got a gold accolade from Visit England, which means we were one of the top 21 attractions in England. Well, surprisingly, probably it was actually whiskey. And I first had an Abelauer, because my dad used to be involved with work for Pernod Ricard, and it was one of their first distilleries. So it was an Abelauer single malt, which I still quite like. So I guess I was also destined to love gin and tonic from a younger age, not the gin and tonic bit, but the tonic. Because strangely, the only soft drink I had when I was young was tonic water. Even as a kid, aged 6, 7, I didn't have Coke, didn't have orange or whatever, I used to have tonic water. So I guess that gave me the taste of gin and tonic from an early age. Well, it does depend on the moment and the location and the time, etc. And sometimes a whiskey is fantastic, sometimes gin's fantastic. They're my main two, I'd say, a whiskey and gin. I've never really liked tequila, so I'm not going to be doing tequila here. But the top two for me are definitely whiskey and gin. Well, I think first of all, you've got to do something in life which you have a real passion for. So you've got to love this. You need a passion about spirits. And there's a huge plus at the moment because it is booming. At the top end is growing. So as a career, you definitely want to be in something which is growing because life is much easier if you're in that growing market than declining. So if you've got the passion, there's a huge opportunity in this industry over the next 10, 20 years.